Well, today you're listening to Monday with Mayor here on 18 WJTS, and today we're on the phone with Loogootee Mayor Noel Harty. Thanks for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me, as always.
And I understand you guys got quite a grant recently.
We did through the CARES Act. We were able to go back and do some research on our police department, how much we had spent on payroll from about the middle of March when the pandemic per se started and to date, and that figure was at around $88,000. So we were able to get that money, those funds reimbursed through the CARES Act. And one might say, well, what does that really gain us? And what we can now do with those funds is now purchase some much needed, maybe a vehicle for the police department or some safety equipment or so forth. And it just frees up some funds now that we can actually maybe buy some needed items, bulletproof vest or so forth. And we also did get a grant recently through IPEP for $6,500, and that's to be divided between both the police department and the street department for barricades and on the street side, and then some safety equipment again on the police department side. So we've had some good news lately. Like with every community, we've been battling COVID, and that's not any news to any community. And our nursing homes, Loogootee Nursing Center, which is actually right outside the city limits. It's on the highway. It's over in Davis County, and then we have Loogootee Healthcare and Rehabilitation Center, which is on Poplar Street in the city limits. They've had quite the feat with COVID, and they're doing all they can to battle this. And we had a prayer service last Monday night for them, and that was pretty well attended, and they really appreciate it. And the Friday before that, Blake Funeral Home, they offered lunch for the employees, had a pizza party, and they appreciated that. So we need to keep all our healthcare workers in our thoughts and prayers. It's been a difficult time, hasn't it?
Oh, definitely. And despite the pandemic, we recently heard you guys have been trying to spread the Christmas cheer around the area.
We have. We were able on the night of the 6th. We were able to. We took the chance and we moved forward with our parade and encouraged social distancing. And believe it or not, all the spectators that I saw, they pretty much were standing together in family groups, and then pretty much they had space between them, and so that was encouraging, and the floats that we had, or the entries might have been down a little bit, but I think we had 40, so I thought that was a good number. And the stores were open that night, and I didn't hear any complaints of congestion in any of the stores, so it just kind of worked out. The tree lighting we did not do as normal because we knew everybody were going to be congregating around the tree at one time, so we knew that would not work. But we just tried to use the best judgment we can and worked with our local health department, and luckily we were able to have our festivities, and it was much needed. So far, most of all the feedback that I've heard was positive, and it was great to be able to have an event and enjoy the lights and try to get us in as much as we can in the Christmas spirit, as you mentioned.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us today.
Well, thank you, and Merry Christmas, and look forward to talking to you next year.
Looking forward to talking to you next year, too. Well, you've been listening to Monday with Mayor here on 18 WJTS, and today we've been on the phone with Loogootee Mayor Noel Harty. Thanks for tuning in. This is 18 WJTS. Local people watching local people.